Hey guys, we have some interesting vibes coming at us this weekend astrologically. Things could get a little bit intense, and there's also probably going to be like a very strong urge or desire to be communicating our feelings about something. We could definitely be throwing it back to the past a little bit this weekend, and there could be some things coming up from the past that we are really gaining like a different viewpoint or perspective on, and it may be making us a little bit fired up to stand up for ourselves or to take some type of action in some type of a way. On Friday, you guys, we have Venus coming into an exact conjunction with the ERIS point. That's pretty explosive. And then on Saturday, we have the sun moving into Gemini. This is definitely a vibrational shift that we are likely to be feeling, but not only is the sun moving into Gemini, the sun will also be at that point in time forming an exact conjunction to Mercury retrograde at the first degree of Gemini as well. Really putting a highlight on these Mercury retrograde themes. And then on Sunday, we're going to have the moon moving into the sign of Pisces, into the early degrees of Pisces, squaring the sun, squaring Mercury retrograde, again, bringing up these Mercury retrograde issues and a need to communicate how we're feeling about it. So we got lots of Mercury energy going on this weekend, lots of intense energy as well, a little bit weird too. So let's get into the charts and see how this might be playing out for us this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Friday, May 20th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the weekend. In this report, I am going to be talking about and looking at the energy that we have coming in for Friday, for Saturday, and for Sunday, just so that we can get an overall view of what's unfolding energetically for us this weekend. So let's start with Friday, of course, and talk about what we have going on. So on Friday, this is, kind of an intense day. We have Venus, the planet ruling our entire Taurus cycle that we are in right now, which is like rapidly coming to a close. The sun is also entering Gemini this weekend. Big energetic shift. But while we are still in this Taurus cycle, Venus is our ruler of this cycle. And she today is coming to 21 degrees of Aries, which happens to be a particularly significant point in the sky, as it is the point in the sky where the planet ERIS was originally discovered. So it really holds all of the ERIS archetypes. And what is ERIS? What is the ERIS point? What does this resonate to? It resonates to freedom for the sake of freedom, truth for the sake of truth, breaking through any type of restrictions that are prohibiting us from speaking our truth, from aligning with our truth. And the Sabian symbol for the ERIS point is a boxer entering the ring. And so when we have this energy activated, a lot of times it really just gives us this massive urge energetically to stand up for ourselves and to fight for something that is meaningful to us in some type of a way. And with ERIS, this is in regards to us liberating ourselves to be able to speak and align with our truth. And so whenever we have an ERIS point that is being activated by a planet, it has a tendency to bring up some contention or some fighting energy, but it's for the purpose of being authentic and being real and being true. Eris in the mythology throws the apple of discord. Like, she's not concerned with whose feelings get hurt or who gets upset or what waves she makes in the process. She's got a point to make, and she's gonna make it. And that is sort of the vibe that we're dealing with when we have Eris point energy going on. And with Venus coming to that degree today, Venus is what we love, what we desire, relationships, finances, money, what gives us pleasure, like what brings us a sense of comfort and abundance. And when we have Venus ruling the cycle again, coming to the ERIS point, this may be, first of all, a boxer entering the ring, the ruler of this cycle, firing us up in some type of a way to really stand up for ourselves. And it can create this more intense energy, a desire with Venus at the Eris point, a very strong, and remember, this is in the sign of Aries, where we already have Venus extra oriented towards pursuing her passions, pursuing her desires, getting what she wants, taking the initiative to make it happen. And when we add this specific degree into the mix, this is like a very strong desire to fight for our truth, to fight for our freedom, to fight for the like authentic expression of whatever it is that we are perceiving in whatever scenario to get an opportunity to be expressed. So we may really be today on Friday having a very strong incentive, desire, motivation, willpower to stand up for ourselves and to speak our truth. Remember, we also have Jupiter right now ruling truth in the sign of Aries as well. So speaking our truth today on Friday in a very perhaps even aggressive way is something that could definitely be coming through because of the energy and because of this specific point playing out. And it could also, again, have to do with relationships, partnerships, financial commitments, finances, economies, resources, supply chains generally. All of these Taurus things, and also in regards to value and our own value and the value that we are recognizing right now. If you guys watched my video from yesterday, I was talking about how we had the sun coming into a trine with Pluto retrograde, and this energy sort of giving us a glimpse into the shadows, sort of shining a light under the surface of things into the shadows of our own psyche and helping us like get to the root issues in terms of ways that maybe we have been misperceiving our own value, with the sun being in the sign of Taurus and Pluto having been in the late degrees of Capricorn. Now today, aside from Venus coming into the conjunction with the ERIS point, we also have the moon reactivating that trine that we had going on yesterday. It is still in effect, although it's no longer exact because the sun has moved ahead. Pluto, of course, is retrograde and pretty much just like stationary at the sky right now, in the sky right now at 29 degrees of Capricorn, not moving, but the sun has moved ahead. So there's a break in the exactness of this activation, and it's going to be waning over the next couple of days. But we have the moon today starting our day, you guys. The day is likely to start on some more intense, like with some more intense and powerful emotions going on. But as the day goes on, these like intense internal realizations or these things that we may be discovering or uncovering are likely to lead into some very active communication. We are really likely to be talking about, discussing, learning about, thinking about, like going back and forth in regards to things, these intense and powerful emotions that we may have started the day with. And we have the moon, as I said, to start our day in the late degrees of Capricorn, forming a conjunction to Pluto. Now, when we have the moon in a conjunction to Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, I mean, Pluto rules power and intensity, purge, purification, regeneration, death, rebirth, the deep, complex recesses like of our own psyche. And with the moon there, this can create some really intense and powerful emotions that are actually helping us to see the truth in things, to see what's under the surface, to really dig down to the depths of our own psyche and glean something of value, with the sun still in Taurus, still forming this trine that can really help to restore our sense of internal value and also our sense of personal power. Very emotionally deep, profound, powerful, transformative feelings going on perhaps to start the day that really may be exposing some things to us or helping us to gain some revelations about something in one way or another, transforming our feelings. And we may actually feel like a little bit obsessed with it, like whatever we are digging into as we start this day, as we start this weekend, we may be doing it like with some compulsion or some like obsession, like being really obsessed about figuring something out, getting to the root of it, seeing under the mask, and then that causing us in this Venus Eris point energy to perhaps really want to take a stand about something. Now, as I said, this Pluto, where this conjunction is happening to start the day, is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So the moon is rapidly going to be leaving the sign of Capricorn following this conjunction, moving into Aquarius, the early degrees of Aquarius. And remember right now, you guys, we have Mercury retrograde in the early degrees of Gemini. Gemini, Aquarius, these are both air signs. And so that means that the moon is going to be forming a trine, an exact trine to Mercury retrograde in the early degrees of Gemini today. And it's interesting right now, based on how things are placed, planets are placed in the sky, we have Jupiter Jupiter right now in the very early degrees of Aries. Aries is the midpoint sign between Aquarius and Gemini. Aries sextiles both Aquarius and Gemini. It's like, Aquarius, we skip a sign, Pisces, and then we get to Aries, and then, we skip a sign, Taurus, and then we get to Gemini. Sextiles are the skip a sign aspects. And so this is actually setting us up after the Pluto conjunction with the moon and the trine to the sun in the end of Taurus. This is actually setting us up with this trine between the moon in Aquarius now and Mercury retrograde in his home sign of Gemini, with Jupiter as an exact midpoint in Aries. And remember, you guys, Jupiter rules truth. Jupiter in the sign of Aries is about an expansion of our own personal truth in alignment with all of this, like, spiritual awakening that perhaps we have gained over the past couple months while Jupiter was transiting the sign of Pisces, coming into the conjunction with Neptune. Venus was there as well. This profound spiritual awakening that we may have recently been undergoing, now translating into an expanded view of our own personal truth. Okay, so we're talking about after this very intense emotional psychic alignment with the moon and our feelings and the root of things, and seeing the truth of the value and that being exposed to us and uncovered, that could really be producing these very powerful emotions going on within us. Well, next we move the moon moves into the sign of Aquarius, and this should actually definitely create a vibrational shift throughout the course of the day. Like, I feel like the day is going to feel much differently towards the end as we end the day on Friday than it does when we begin. But it's like these aspects that we're starting out with are translating into this trine that we have going on. And this air sign trine that we have going on, air signs, this is all about thoughts, ideas, communication, like what we're learning, what we're talking about, like all of that type of Mercury stuff as well. And then we're also talking about Mercury in the sign of Gemini and his rulership, but Mercury is retrograde with Jupiter as a midpoint and the moon in Aquarius as well. This is ruled by Uranus, and this is that alignment with our authentic truth. And so we may find ourselves, as this energy goes on today, really having a very strong, it just sort of happening. Like, people, places, circumstances, situations coming into our lives, meetings happening, alignments with people happening that are resulting in us really speaking and communicating and expressing our feelings in regards especially to this truth that we may have discovered. And this could be in a very big way, a very overblown and exaggerated way, or it could just be from this bird's eye view or this higher perspective or this wisdom gained through experience through which we are viewing whatever we're discovering in this energy. And it is very, very likely to be regarding past situations. Whatever is coming up, whatever we're figuring out, whatever we're looking into, whatever we're seeing behind the surface of or getting to the root of today in this energy is likely to be in regards to people, places, situations, circumstances from the past in some type of way or another, because of Mercury being retrograde. And when Mercury is retrograde, a lot of times it has a tendency to bring back situations from the past for like a second look, to reconsider something, to reevaluate something, or to gain some type of closure in one way or another. So there could be some reevaluations regarding the past that are coming up and that we are like actively talking about, learning about, seeking out information, speaking, like communicating, or just interactions as well that we are having with others. Could be in regards to like the past in some type of way. But at the end of the day, like this energy on Friday is really likely to be motivating us or giving us a desire to speak our truth, to stand up for ourselves, to begin to really like step into our own authenticity based on, these deeper emotional transformations that we are going through as well. And it's also about fighting for freedom, fighting for truth, fighting for freedom, Venus at the ERIS point, and these moon aspects that we have going on Friday. Pretty powerful day for, and this is also very like self-analytical, self-reflective, like introspective energy as well. The moon forming the conjunction to Pluto, like really obsessing over like resolving the complexes of our own psyche and what we're learning like through that process and the value that we're seeing or that we're gaining from it in one way or another, and the change that that is having on us internally. And then, you know, the way that it's affecting our mind and our motivation or desire, or just it's a trine aspect. So we are just likely to be speaking, talking about our feelings today. And this is the moon, remember, in the sign of Aquarius. This is our feelings. This is our internal environment. This is our emotions forming the trine to Mercury retrograde in Gemini. So we're really likely to be talking about our emotions, expressing our emotions, again, regarding past scenarios as well, and just seeking for truth, speaking our truth, fighting for truth, standing up for ourselves, putting our foot down in one way or another, figuring things out, and then as a result of that, taking action. This is generally the energy that I'm feeling like is probably coming through on Friday. We can talk about the Sabian symbols for just a minute that are present alongside of this. First of all, we have the Earth on Friday at 30 degrees of Scorpio. As I said, you know, this is the last degree. The sun is going to be moving out of Gemini tomorrow. So this is our last day of sun in Taurus, Earth in Scorpio energy, and the Earth at 30 degrees of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is children in Halloween costumes indulging in various pranks. So again, with the day starting out with the moon in conjunction to Pluto in the trine to the sun, I feel like we're seeing under the mask of things. I feel like we're figuring out who's in those costumes, who's behind those masks, and who is involved in whatever various pranks may have been going on. And following on the heels as well of this Mars Neptune energy that was trying to help us see the truth through illusions, whether it be in regards to our own personal selves and our own personal truth, or ways that we may have been being manipulated or deceived in our own perception of reality in one way or another. That was pushing for truth through illusion. And now we're like sort of taking that truth and stepping into it today and allowing it to inspire us to take some type of an action and to really talk about how we're feeling about it as well. We also have, as I said, the Bucks are entering the ring, the ERIS point where Venus is on Friday as well. We have Mercury at 2 degrees of Gemini on Friday for this trine to the moon. Santa Claus furtively filling stockings hanging by the fireplace. So with Mercury at this degree, I do feel like whatever information is coming to us, whatever revelations are coming to us, whatever reconsiderations are coming up right now are actually trying to bring us some type of gift or some type of, again, this emphasis on value that is been very prominent in the charts lately as well, coming through by Mercury at that degree. And the moon at 2 degrees of Aquarius, that Sabian symbol is an unexpected thunderstorm. So again, these more like stormy emotions that may be coming up to start the day today, but leading into some type of outpouring of like verbalization or communication or interaction in one way or another. So that is kind of pretty much what I have to say about the energy for Friday. Very, again, like intense day that starts off with perhaps like some deep emotional truths coming to the surface that we're gaining some insight into, that is changing us in some type of way, changing how we're feeling, and inspiring us to really stand up for ourselves, take some kind of action to liberate ourselves in some type of a way in alignment with our authentic truth, and then like not holding back, like really speaking our feelings and talking about our emotions and how this is making us feel in this energy. So that's what we have going on Friday. Now let's talk about Saturday for a minute. Saturday is another like kind of like weird day. We do have the sun moving into Gemini on Saturday, and this should definitely be a palpable energetic shift. The sun leaving the sign of Taurus, moving into the sign of Gemini. This is obviously a much different vibe, a much different energy than the Taurus vibe. This is likely especially with, Mercury retrograde right now in Gemini as well, forming the conjunction to the sun for the sun's first day in Gemini. That makes me feel like the sun's sort of like whole transit through the sign of Gemini this year might be just like a little bit weird, because the sun is forming the conjunction to Mercury retrograde at the first degree of Gemini to start his transit, the sun's transit through the sign of Gemini. And so we have lots of highlight on Mercury retrograde energy. Obviously, the sun, the light shining its full force on Mercury retrograde going on Saturday. Now, that also means that the sun or Mercury is combust, but the Mercury will also be coming to GEMINI, which is the exact to the minute alignment on Saturday. And they say when the sun or Mercury is combust the sun, we're missing crucial pieces of information, because we can't see Mercury in the sky because of its proximity to the sun and the sun's rays being so bright. So, Mercury in conjunction to the sun, generally combust, has a tendency to keep us from seeing the whole picture of things. And Mercury is retrograde right now as well, which is obviously having us like backtracking and double thinking things as well. But when Mercury comes to the exact to the minute alignment with the sun, this is called GEMINI. And that is when in astrology, they say that we have a brief moment in time where we are actually getting like some true clarity. And so this energy is going to be coming in on Saturday, again, following on the heels of this Friday energy that we have going on that may be giving us some revelations, exposing some things to us, helping us to get to the root of some issues that maybe have been blocking our progress or holding us back for quite a long period of time, and then feeling really fired up to fight for these truths that we're discovering and fight for this freedom and this liberation to move in alignment with us authentic truth, and then really expressing the way that we feel about it. Well, now we're moving into the energy for Saturday, and we have this aspect and this shift going on between, the vibe generally from the sun moving out of Taurus into Gemini. This is a much more active, fast-paced energy than the Taurus energy, and it's much more about, socializing, interacting, things going back and forth, short trips, communication, learning, just information, generally speaking. Like all of these Mercury-related themes are more prominent when we have a sun coming into Gemini, especially when the sun is coming into exact alignment with Mercury, ruler of the sign of Gemini. And this, again, is with Mercury retrograde putting an emphasis on perhaps some misunderstandings or some miscommunications that have gone on. We may be gaining some crucial insight into things that we weren't understanding properly in the past. And again, this could also be like a bit of a weird energy that is coming through today. This is also may have us reconsidering or seeing through a different light things that we have learned in the past or thought in the past or said in the past. Really an emphasis on double thinking our choices and decisions in this energy right now. And with Mercury coming GEMINI with the sun today, we actually may be getting some genuine insight in ways that can help us in these decision-making processes moving forward. But with Mercury retrograde, this is likely to be putting a highlight on things pertaining to the past, and also any type of misunderstanding or miscommunications that may have been going on and messing with our viewpoint of things in one way or another. The degree where this is happening as well, 1 degree of Gemini, the sun obviously is moving into Gemini, so we'll be discharging 1 degree of Gemini. Sorry about like the yard work that's going on outside randomly right now. I don't know how long it will be going on for, and I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I hope it's not too distracting. Anyways, the sun is going to be at 1 degree of Gemini today, and that Sabian symbol in the conjunction to Mercury retrograde, who is also at 1 degree of Gemini right now, is a glass bottom boat, reveals undersea wonders and panoramas. So with Mercury becoming GEMINI with the sun today, I feel like this is describing, this clear view that we may be coming to right now about what has been going on under the surface of things. And remember, we're coming out of this energy from the past couple days with the sun and trine to Pluto that has also been doing that same thing. And then with Mercury coming GEMINI with the sun today at this degree, a glass bottom boat reveals undersea wonders. We may be getting to like the bottom of some of our more difficult emotional issues that we've been dealing with, considering this is talking about, undersea wonders, water emotions, but it's also talking about like a panorama, like actually seeing the whole picture, seeing what's going on under the surface in a very clear way. Again, putting this emphasis on all of these ideas, thoughts, understandings, what we've learned, what we've said, what we've communicated, misunderstandings in some type of way, and really seeing like a full picture of something that may be helping us in choices or decisions that we are sort of deliberating on at this point in time. Also, we have another aspect going on Saturday, and that is the moon in Aquarius. Remember, the moon moved into Aquarius yesterday and formed the trine to Mercury retrograde in Gemini. Yesterday, every day we have a Mercury retrograde aspect going on this weekend. We had the trine on Friday. We have the exact conjunction from the sun on Saturday, and then on Sunday, we're going to have a square from the moon to Mercury as well. But today, on Saturday, the moon is mid-Aquarius, which means that the moon will be forming a square to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Now, this is like some extra Aquarian energy that we have going on because the moon is in the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, forming the square to Uranus. So by sign placement and aspect, the moon is definitely kicking up these Uranian, Aquarian energies, frequencies, themes today. And the moon in Aquarius forming a square to Uranus and Taurus, this may be causing some like sudden emotional disturbances or upsets as a result of a desire to break free from our comfort zone in some type of a way. And this could have to do with all of this stuff that may be coming up or coming back around, or the full picture that we may be seeing right now. The moon in Aquarius is really about wanting the freedom to align with what is authentic and what is true for us, forming the square to Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is the sign of the comfort zone, you guys. Uranus shakes us out of things. And so with the moon in Aquarius forming square to Uranus and Taurus, we may have an inherent desire to break free from said comfort zone, to liberate ourselves, or it could cause what we're learning, what we're communicating, what we're seeing, what we're, having second thoughts about or taking a second look at in this energy could also be causing some more emotional disturbances, emotional upsets as well. But we're talking about Uranus. Uranus puts things right. Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus is the great liberator. So whatever we may be seeking to emotionally liberate ourselves from is ultimately likely to have a positive outcome in the long run, especially in the context of all of this Mercury energy that may be coming up as well, and really helping us to figure some things out that we may have been wrong about, or that we may have misunderstood, or that we may have been misperceiving in the past in some type of a way or another, opening our eyes to something and perhaps, upsetting us in one way or another, but upsetting us likely because of what is breaking down at this point in time that may have been our comfort zone as well. This is like us breaking free from our comfort zone or being upset because the comfort is disheveled as a result of things that may be exposing themselves to us. It's also interesting because the Earth will be at 1 degree of Sagittarius on Saturday, and that Sabian symbol is retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories. Again, this is what I'm saying about this Mercury retrograde energy. Things from the past, memories coming back, people coming back, reawakening old memories, maybe seeing them from a different perspective, maybe discovering something that we didn't see originally that's changing our mind and giving us a greater viewpoint and perspective on something. All of these type of things very primed in the energetic today. We also, though, have Venus on Saturday coming to 22 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. So regardless of what's going on Saturday, you guys, regardless of any emotional upsets or disturbances that we may find ourselves in, or the moon in Uranus, this can also just be like a very strong desire to break ourselves free or break ourselves out from like more mundane, restrictive circumstances of our daily lives in one way or another, with it being the Uranus and Taurus as well. Also, you guys, this could bring some upsets as a result of shocking or surprising things going on in finances, partnerships, work relationships, resources, material comfort, what we're building right now. Like there could be some upsets in regards to those things too. So I want to mention that as well. But talking about now Venus at this degree for this energy that we have playing out today, still ruling the Taurus cycle. Remember, we're going to be in the the Taurus cycle until we get to our new moon in Gemini, which I believe is coming next week. So Venus is still in charge of everything that's going on right now. And at 22 degrees of Aries, the garden to the gate of all fulfilled desires, whatever is transpiring in this energy, whatever we're figuring out. And it's funny, because yesterday Mercury was at Santa Claus furtively filling stockings, hanging by the fireplace. And now we have the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. Like this information, this reevaluation, this reconsidering, like seeing the truth in things, seeing that glass bottom boat with showing the undersea wonders and the panoramas. It is leading us, you guys, to a place that is like in alignment with what can fulfill our heart's true, authentic desires. Like that is why we are breaking ourselves free. That is why we are getting to the root of things. That is why we are realigning and rearranging our lives right now. And that is why we are going through so many drastic changes, because ultimately we are going through this rebirth process right now as we shift our vibration back into authentic alignment with who we truly are, why we're truly here, what we were truly meant to do. Universe is calling us all to activate our destiny right now, you guys, to ascend into our higher selves and to begin living our life in the way that we were cosmically designed to do so. And at this point in time, that requires some major shakeups, some major revelations, getting to the bottom of things, some healing, some regeneration, some release, so that we can go through this rebirth and make this transition into the age of Aquarius. It happens on an individual level that then extrapolates outwards. And, over the years, over the centuries, and over the millennium, eventually, we get to a point where the human collective is operating from these states of self-empowerment, self-wisdom, self-knowledge, self-mastery, co-creation with God and universe, which is the trajectory right now as we are heading into the age of Aquarius. And in this 222 year as well, that is emblematic of all of those same themes, the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. Like that is this 222 year that we're in right now. And with Venus at this degree, I feel like this is telling us that energetically what is happening right now and the changes that it is producing are for the purpose of getting us into this authentic alignment so we can move through the rest of this year and be able to attract all of the unfulfilled desires that are in our soul and in our heart. And that is just like the name of the game this year and how I'm seeing it as we are shifting ages, transitioning into the age of Aquarius. So I feel like Venus at this degree is really telling us that what is transpiring now, what is happening now, is to help us come into a better alignment with where we're really supposed to be in order so that we can attract, magnetize, manifest, experience these unfulfilled desires that are truly in our heart and in our soul. So that is what I'm looking at, you guys, in terms of the energy for Saturday. I do feel like this is also like a significant day just because of the Mercury cazimi, even though Mercury is retrograde right now. Mercury also right now this year is moving from air signs into earth signs. And so as we're going through these retrograde processes this year, it's like we come to some conclusion about something, but then we need to go back and we need to make sure we have all the details and we're understanding it properly so that it can be grounded into reality, so that when we move forward with this more grounded viewpoint and perspective, we can actually like do something tangible with it moving forward. This is mental energy that is being grounded and embodied so that it can actually like become a part of us as we move forward, and really like stabilizing our thoughts and our mind in these retrograde processes when we're moving from air signs back to earth signs and then back to air signs again. So that's what I have to say, you guys, basically for the energy that we have going on for Saturday. Now let's talk about Sunday. Sunday, we have more of this Mercury retrograde energy coming up. That's what I was talking about. On Friday, we have the trine from the moon to Mercury retrograde. On Saturday, we have the exact conjunction from the sun to Mercury retrograde. And then the moon moving into the early degree, leaving Aquarius, moving into the early degrees of Pisces on Saturday or on Sunday, also going to be forming a square to Mercury in the early degrees of Gemini, because now we're in Pisces and Gemini, and these are mutable signs. Forming this square, forming the 90-degree aspect, again, putting this emphasis on these Mercury retrograde themes and the things that are coming up right now. Now, I will say to start the day on Sunday, the moon will still be in Aquarius, will be forming a square to Saturn. So this could be also a more heavy and oppressive vibe. We may feel a little bit more introverted. We may feel a little bit more withdrawn, a little bit more isolated. We may be more focused on just like getting some things done and doing our work and paying attention to the details and really just sort of like minding our business in one way or another. But then the moon is going to move out of Aquarius and is going to move into the sign of Pisces. This is going to activate that Pisces energy, that Mars and Neptune still in Pisces, and this is definitely more of this feeling-based energy that we have going on, because now we're going from an air sign where the moon was yesterday and to start the day today and moving into a water sign. Really, I mean, the moon, it rules Cancer, very much, you know, associated with our emotions, our feelings, water energy moving into water sign. This is a highly emotionalized energy. And then forming the square to Mercury retrograde in the sign of Gemini, this is doing a whole bunch of things for us on Sunday as well. This could bring up some more negative or heavy emotions that are perhaps overwhelming our rational intellect about things. When we have the moon in Pisces forming a square to Mercury in Gemini, this could definitely be emotions, as I said, overwhelming our logical thought processes, especially with Mercury retrograde, overwhelming our rational intellect, overwhelming like our streamlined viewpoint of things, like our coherent thoughts, very, very emotionally motivated, I guess you could say, in this energy. And there is a strong, with the square aspect, especially to Mercury in Gemini, a very, very, very strong need to communicate our emotions. And communicating those emotions may really bring up some conflict, but holding them back can actually create even more conflict than bringing them up. This is actually energy where we really need to let it go, in terms of like, we need to say what's on our mind. Like, we need to speak our feelings. Like, we can't suppress it. We can't hold it back. We just sort of need to let it unfold and let what needs to come out, come out. Because if we are repressing, if we are holding back in this energy, if we are trying to stifle our ability to communicate our feelings, there's a very strong likelihood that it can just like bubble over and create like even more conflict as a result of some passive aggressive behavior that we may start exhibiting, or some resentment that is like palpable in the air. So we really don't want to be holding back on speaking our feelings, speaking our mind, speaking our truth in the energy that we have going on Sunday. And I don't think we're going to be holding ourselves back anyways. I think we're going to be letting it all come out in this energy that we have going on Sunday. This is a time of psychological and emotional readjustments going on. Psychological in terms of the mind, Mercury retrograde; emotional in terms of the moon in Pisces. Intentions should be released in this energy, because again, if they don't, it can build into something that becomes much worse than it actually might have been if we had just said what was on our mind. Another thing about this energy, opinions, really, like our viewpoints, our opinions, like what we think about things, may be in sort of like a state of flux today. But this is not energy where we want to be changing our viewpoints just because someone like disagrees with us or has a problem with how we're feeling, especially coming off of, and I don't think we really will be coming off of the energy that we are coming off of with the ERIS point on Friday and the energy that we have going on Saturday as well. But we don't really want to be like we may feel like sort of like backtracking in this energy, or like appeasing people through agreeing with them in one way or another. But that is not really the way that we want to take things in this. And yeah, like our opinions may be changing, our attitudes may be changing, our ideas about things in this energy may be changing. And again, like in a state of flux, like going with the wind sort of. But we want to be honest with ourselves and others about that. Like if we're not sure, like if we're changing our viewpoint, like if we feel like we're changing our opinion about something, like we just need to be straight up about it. And we just need to be like, I don't know, like this is how I'm feeling now. I can't guarantee that this is how I'll be feeling tomorrow. This is not how I was feeling yesterday, but this is how I'm feeling now. And just because you don't like it or just because you don't agree with it doesn't necessarily mean that, I'm going to change it. Maybe I'll take your viewpoint into consideration, but I'm not just going to like sort of change my viewpoint to accommodate the prevailing winds in this energy. Is something that we don't want to do, because we are likely to be sort of in this state of flux in this energy anyways, especially with Mercury retrograde. Like we may be sort of reconsidering like the assertiveness through which we've been communicating over the past couple days as well. this energy, or maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable with sort of some of the conclusions that we've come to up until this point. It is a day to be very honest with ourselves and others, and suppressing emotions again can make these conflicts worse. And another thing, like, this is not just us, like, this is other people as well. So we sort of need to be prepared in this energy for us maybe not to like what other people are saying to us as well. We may not like what we're hearing, or even like what we have to say today, or what other people are having to say to us, but feelings need to be expressed in this energy when we have the square going on between the moon in Pisces and the Mercury retrograde in the sign of Gemini. Let's talk about the Sabian symbols a little bit that we have playing out on Sunday as well. The position of the Earth on Sunday, 2 degrees of Sagittarius. The ocean covered in white caps. So this is also talking about these turbulent emotions, these rocky emotions, these more, rapid water, like, white caps. You guys know what that means, like just choppy emotions that we may have going on and be experiencing with this square between Pisces, moon, Gemini, Mercury retrograde that is happening. We still have Mercury at 1 degree of Gemini. The glass bottom boat reveals panoramas and undersea wonders. So we're still very much likely to be thinking about what we've discovered, what we've seen under the surface of things, and needing to talk about it, needing to express it, needing to express those white caps, needing to express those choppy emotions and what we're seeing and what we're feeling and what we're discovering with the energy that we have going on. We also have Venus on Sunday at 24 degrees of Aries, an open window and a net curtain blowing into a cornucopia. And this is telling me as well, we sort of also need to like go with the flow of things in this energy and not hold ourselves back if we're feeling a need to express something that's important to us. Go with the flow and realize that our thoughts and feelings may be changeable, may be in flux, may be sort of changing with the prevailing winds today, but we need to be honest about that, as I said, and sort of not really attach maybe to the shifts that are going on within us right now, because things are sort of getting sorted out after what may have been a pretty powerful and intense past couple of days. But we also have Jupiter moving to 3 degrees of Aries on Sunday, and that Sabian symbol is a cameo profile of a man in the outline of his country. So again, like, this energy, like Jupiter moving to this degree where he'll be for the next like 4 or 5 days or so, in the sign of Aries, which is already about like seeking out our personal truth, expanding upon our personal truth, embodying our personal truth. Well, now with Jupiter at this specific degree as well, the cameo profile of man in the outline of his country, I really feel like this is us going to be really stepping into and truly embodying that personal truth that we have been coming to as we go through this week. So that is, I feel like, sort of foreshadowing the energy that's going to be coming up next week. And I feel like there's going to be a very strong emphasis going on getting back into alignment with our personal truth and really like embodying and standing in that energy, in that vibe. And, this rebirth as well, like being reborn in alignment with these truths that we are coming to right now. So that is what I have to say, you guys, for the energy that we have playing out, the energy that we have going on for this weekend. Should be an interesting one, a little bit weird, a little bit of weirdness going on and picking up as well. I mean, we have that Uranus aspect that's in the moon squaring Uranus on Saturday, but also just with this Mercury retrograde energy and this Eris point energy and this Sun trine Pluto and moon energy and these squares and this Mercury retrograde that is going on. It could just be some bizarre interactions or conversations or communications that are really changing our viewpoint, helping us to see the truth, helping us to see the full picture, helping us to gain some information that changes our viewpoint of things from the past, things, people, situations, conversations from the past, also coming up in this energy but just this definite strong emphasis that we have going on the Mercury retrograde energy, putting a highlight all weekend on Mercury retrograde, misunderstandings, miscommunications, things from the past that maybe we are changing our viewpoint and perspective on now, and even the position of the Earth on Saturday. The retired Army veterans gather to reawaken old memories, talking about something from the past, you guys, could be coming up for a second look in this energy. Now, I'm not going to do tarot today, you guys, because I've done 3 days and this is a lot of talking, but I'm going to pull a synchronicity card for us for the weekend so that we can see, you know, what advice might help us best to carry through this weekend. So let's shuffle and see if a card wants to come out of the deck for us today. These are synchronicity cards. They are by Janice Shellman. They are little pieces of wisdom and advice from God to just like help us know what we need to know to make our experience better, or to, here's one that wants to come out. Hold on, it fell on the floor. Okay, and the card that we got that came out of the deck just now, it says focus, which, you guys, with this Mercury, this makes sense to me in the context of this energy with the moon and Pluto, with all of this Mercury energy, the squares, the trines. We need to focus this weekend. And also on Sunday, we start with the moon in the conjunction with Saturn as well. And I was specifically saying we may be really focused on some things. So let's read this card. Focus. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Isaiah 26:3. Focus your thoughts on God and on that part of you that is God. Tune in on God and his serenity over your life. When you can still your mind and think of God and be at peace in your mind, everything around you will fall into a peaceful routine in your home life, your business, and in all aspects of your life. Stay in this state of mind and you will prosper beyond your wildest dreams, the gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. We need to stay focused this weekend. Keep our mind on the prize. Stay in tune with our spiritual connection, despite any type of craziness that may be unfolding around us. When you can still your mind and think of God and be at peace in your mind, everything around you will fall into a peaceful routine. So to me, this is saying that if things do get a little bit crazy this weekend, this is also, this Mercury, like busy, crazy, noisy energy that we could be going on. We really need to focus. We really need to tune in. We really need to align ourselves with this sense of inner peace that is helping to lead us toward this gate of the garden of all fulfilled desires. So that is what we have for our synchronicity card today. It says focus. And that is what I have for my report today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the synchronicity card. I hope you guys liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can just give you a little bit of whatever you need as you are navigating your life this weekend, navigating these energies. If you did like it, you guys, please give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends if you think they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I love your feedback. I love hearing what you have to say. I love each and every one of you so much. Thank you guys so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Monday, you guys. We're going to have another big week of energy to talk about. We actually have Jupiter building into a conjunction with Mars. So that is something that we are going to be talking about next week as we move towards our new moon in Gemini. So wishing everybody a beautiful weekend and stay focused, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, guys.